Okay, let's dive into this. If you're looking to start an international trade business in India, you've got a pretty big decision on your hands. Should you export goods out or import them in? Now, both can make you money, for sure, but one of these paths, well, it often has a very clear advantage. So, in this explainer, we're going to figure out which one that is. So, let's just get right to the heart of it, shall we? For an entrepreneur in India, what's the smarter bet? Which one is going to give you higher profits and, just as importantly, lower risk? The answer to this is going to shape your entire business strategy. And you know what? In the Indian context, the answer is pretty clear cut. It's generally exporting. It almost always offers a better shot at higher profits and comes with less overall risk. Now, let's get into the why, because the reasons are actually fascinating. We're going to start by really exploring the massive advantages that come with selling Indian goods on the global stage. Trust me, there are some really powerful forces at play here that give exporters a serious edge. The whole export advantage really boils down to three main pillars. First, you've got pricing and foreign exchange working in your favor. Second, you get some amazing government incentives. And third, there's the incredible long-term value of building an international brand. So, reason number one is just straightforward economics. The cost to make things in India is relatively low, right? This means you can create a fantastic product here, sell it in a market where people have more spending power, think the US or Europe, and you can ask for a much higher price. That gap between your cost and their price, that's your profit. And on top of those higher prices, exporters get this amazing little bonus called an exchange rate gain. Basically, when your buyer pays you in a strong currency like US dollars or euros, you get an extra profit boost just by converting it back into Indian rupees. It's kind of like a hidden bonus that goes straight to your bottom line. This brings us to a very powerful friend you'll have in your corner, the government. See, exporting is something the Indian government really wants you to do because it brings valuable foreign money into the country. And they don't just encourage you with a pat on the back, they support you with real, actual financial benefits. So just how big of a deal is this? Well, through schemes like RoDTEP, which basically refunds taxes and duties you've paid, exporters can see their net profit jump by a staggering 5 to 12%. I mean, think about that. That's a direct cash injection into your business just for selling your stuff abroad. And the last big advantage is all about perception, about brand value. When your brand makes it big internationally, it gets this level of prestige and credibility that you almost can't buy. That global stamp of approval makes your brand more valuable and more trusted, not just overseas, but right here in India too. Okay, so with all that said, does this mean importing is just a bad idea? No, not at all. It's just a totally different game. Importing isn't about casting a wide net. It's more of a strategic niche play that can be super profitable, but only under very specific conditions. There are basically three winning scenarios for importers. First, you find unique, specialized products that nobody else is selling locally, like some cutting-edge electronics, and you sell them at a premium. Second, you can source raw materials more cheaply from abroad to actually lower your own production costs here. Or third, you can play the volume game, importing massive quantities and making your money on scale, not on high margins per item. All right, we've seen the strategies for making a profit. Now let's really put these two business models side by side and look at the risks and challenges. This is where the differences really start to stand out. When you're talking about market risk, exporters have a definite leg up. Because their production costs are low, they have a ton of wiggle room on pricing. Importers, though, they're way more vulnerable. A small dip in the rupee's value or a surprise customs duty can literally wipe out their entire profit margin in an instant. In this might be the most critical difference of all, the government's stance. Exports are actively promoted, they're cheered on. Imports, on the other hand, are controlled. The government uses customs duties on imported goods to protect local industries, which means importers are often fighting against policy while exporters are riding the wave with it. So, after looking at all the advantages, the strategies, the risks, it's time for the final verdict. Let's wrap this up and summarize the key takeaways to help you figure out which path really makes the most sense for you. Look, the verdict is pretty crystal clear. If what you're after are higher profit margins and strong government backing, then the choice is exporting. It's a path that perfectly aligns your own business goals with the goals of the national economy. Now, for anyone still leaning towards the import route, this is the single most important takeaway. You can't just import any old thing. Your product absolutely must be special. It has to be unique or advanced or rare enough that you're not competing head-on with stuff that's already made here. That is the golden rule for success in importing. And that brings us to the end. We've laid out the whole framework, the risks, and the rewards. This profit showdown has a clear winner in most cases, but a clever niche player can always find an opening. So the final question really isn't for me, it's for you. What will you trade?